We're getting a little more clarity on the playoff picture after Week 8. A handful of ranked teams taking L's, which means a new look AP poll in Week 9. The top 6 teams all remaining the same, with Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, Michigan, Clemson, and Alabama. TCU up 1 spot to number 7 after the K-State win. Oregon up 2 spots to number 8 after handing UCLA its first loss of the season. The biggest faller, Ole Miss, down 8 spots to number 15 after losing to previously unranked LSU. And those Bayou Bengals back in the rankings at number 18. Kansas State, another faller, down 5 spots to 22. And South Carolina entering the poll for the first time since 2018 at number 25. Let's bring in Brad Crawford now to break it all down. And Brad, I'm surprised you're not wearing sunglasses like Shane Beamer, because you just keep calling all these Gamecocks wins all season long. Their first 4-game win streak in Beamer's tenure. What do you like about them?
I am wearing my garnet blazer today just for this, to commemorate this. Yeah, first time in 4 years Gamecocks are ranked in the AP poll after beating A&M. 4th straight win, as you mentioned. Shane Beamer's now 12-8 through his first 20 games at South Carolina. That's the same record Steve Spurrier managed to accomplish in Columbia. So that's impressive company there. Gamecocks have also won back-to-back games as underdogs. Really proves this team has been undervalued from the start, in my opinion. There's some media types that are pointing to the schedule sort of softening up since those early season losses to Arkansas and Georgia. But you still have to win the games in front of you. Everyone knows the challenges of an SEC slate. And South Carolina has a really good shot at pushing this out to 7-2 before a trip to Florida next month. One thing I'll say here, Grace, a big key for me the rest of the way is, how the Gamecocks handle all these headlines and this positive momentum. Gamecocks' next 2 games are against Missouri and Vanderbilt, which could really improve this team's bowl hopes. And then you have Florida, Tennessee, and Clemson to end November. Orange Crush, as Gamecock supporters call it.
Yeah, don't get too much up in your head for the end of the season, but anytime you can be included in a conversation with Steve Spurrier, I like the sound of that. All right, let's do your underrated team, and you are going with the same team for the 2nd week in a row.
Yeah, last week I went with LSU as my most underrated squad, and I said the Tigers would prove it against Ole Miss. They did so in Baton Rouge, blowout fashion. Most AP voters apparently didn't watch this game because at number 18, LSU is still 4 or 5 spots lower than they should be. Jaden Daniels seems to have figured out things offensively in the passing game since that loss to Tennessee. Linebacker Harold Perkins right now is wrecking souls on defense. And LSU is not a team that any SEC opponent wants to play right now. And I understand how these polls work. Ole Miss is still ahead of LSU because of the 7-1 record. But the Rebels had a softer early season schedule compared to the Tigers. And I think that 45-20 final, to me, shows me that regardless of a 1-game difference in record, LSU's the better team. And I think moving forward, Brian Kelly and the Tigers are going to finish with a better record than Ole Miss this season.
And LSU going into the bye week, Alabama going into the bye week. They're going to square off November 5th for the SEC West. Whew, big one right there. Okay, and your overrated team, we're going to the ACC.
I'm going with 2 here. NC State at the high 20s and Clemson at number 5. Let's start with NC State. Wolfpack lost quarterback Devin Leary for the season a few weeks ago and then lost that road game at Syracuse. NC State was still ranked, but they did slide despite an open week. This is a good team, not a great team. I don't think the Wolfpack are going to win 9 games this season like most of us media types assume from the outset. They still have to play Wake Forest and North Carolina next month. And then Clemson. The Tigers have a first-place vote this week after barely beating Syracuse at home despite overcoming 4 turnovers. So I want to find out who that voter is, Grace, that has Clemson in the number 1 spot when Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, they're all better teams right now.
Okay, so maybe it's not Clemson at number 5 that's overrated. It's just this one voter you think is overrated. Right. All right. Well, thanks, Brad. And remember, for the best college football coverage all season long, check us out at 247sports.com.